Welcome back. What we're going to look at in this lesson is now solving equations, multiplication and division equations today, also using decimals. So again, we have to remember our rules for multiplying and dividing integers, our positive and our negatives. We also have to remember our rules for our decimals and our rules for solving equations. So we're taking a lot of things that we've learned, we're combining them. And again, if you're struggling on any of those three different things, feel free to go back and watch the original videos to kind of catch you up before we try to put it all together. So again, you'll notice I've given you your two rules. By now, you're like, I'm so tired of seeing those. If you make me write them again, I'm going to scream. Well, you can scream all you want. I'm still going to make you do it. I want you to know these. We want to keep it balanced. Whatever I do to one side of an equation, I have to do to the other. And we want to isolate our variable. Once we have it by itself, we know what it's equal to. And remember how we do that. We use our inverse operations to undo the operation that's happening to the variable. So we're going to take a look at some examples here as well. So what you'll notice, the operation happening to my variable here is multiplication. Its inverse is division. So I'm going to divide this side by 6.2. Since I've divided this side by 6.2, I need to do the same thing to the other side. Here they cancel out and leave me with my 1 or my q, 1q over here. I'll do my division over here for you. I like to, you'll notice I don't always use my calculator. Sometimes I get lazy, but I like to give my brain a little workout and just practice and do the math. So remember, I've got a decimal in my divisor, so I need to make it a whole number, so I'm going to move it over once. Since I moved it once there, I need to do the same thing in my dividend. Then we're going to go through and do our division. I'm going to go in there twice again. And I'm going to wind up with a decimal here. I'm going to add some zeros. And 5 times. Yep, and that's going to work out perfectly. I'm going to wind up with 22.5. The nice thing here, these were both positive numbers, so I don't have to worry about my sign. It's obviously going to be positive. Again, how can I know that I'm correct? Well, I can take this number, plug it in, do my multiplication to check. I'll use the calculator to do a quick check for you. 6.2 times 22.5 gives me 139.5. It checks out. I know that I'm correct. Over here, you'll notice that we're doing division. We're dividing our variable by a number. So I want to undo that division. I want to undo it by multiplying. I have a -2. I'm going to multiply by -2. Since I multiplied one side by -2, I need to multiply the other side by -2 as well. Over here, my 2's cancel. I'm left with a y. Over here, if I do my multiplication, I'm going to multiply first, then I'll determine what my sign is. 132.6. However, I'll move this over. I need to pay attention to my sign. I have one negative sign, which is odd, which means my answer will then be a negative number. And we went over that before. And again, I'll use the calculator to do a quick check. 132.6, negative 132.6 divided by -2 gives me a positive 66.3. I know I'm correct. All right. Over here, you'll notice our variable's on the other side. That's okay. Don't let that throw you off. I still want to get the variable by itself. I'm multiplying the variable. I'm going to undo it by dividing. Since I divided one side by 2.4, I need to divide the other side by 2.4 as well. Remember, I have a decimal in my divisor, so I need to move it to make a whole number. I'm going to move it in my dividend as well. Then I'm going to go through and I'm going to do my division. Let's try 7 maybe. And what you'll notice is it doesn't come out evenly. I'm going to wind up with a decimal. Sorry guys, I'm going to start doing this in my head because I'm running out of room for the math. All right, I wind up with 7.75. And again, just, I ran out of room here, so ignore my scribbles down here. I have one negative sign, which is an odd number. That means my answer is also negative. Again, we can go back, and I'm going to use my calculator to quick check. 2.4 times negative 7.75 gives me negative 18.6. I must have done my math correctly. It checks out. Over here, you'll notice we're dividing. How do I undo division? I'm going to undo it by multiplying. So I'm going to multiply. I'm going to erase my number here. By whatever I'm dividing by, which in this case is 53.075. Did that to one side. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. We know that 1 times anything is itself. However, you'll notice this is negative 1. There's a rule that we'll talk about later on, the multiplicable rule of -1, which basically just means it flips the sign of whatever you're multiplying it by. So y is just equal to negative 53.075. And again, you can plug that in and you can check it. If you're confused or you have any questions, feel free to watch this again. You can go back and watch any of the previous ones that you need to help you catch up. If you have questions, post them in the comments box, email me, or we'll go over them in class. All right? You guys have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow.